I'm here at the Philadelphia Mint with Ron Harrigal, Manager of Design Engraving for the United States Mint. Ron, concerning the Apollo 11 50th anniversary coins, what kind of production problems did you have, if any, not only making the dies, testing the dies, and actually putting them into production?
Well, I think ultimately our plan was the new product being the 3-inch, 5-ounce coin was, from a time perspective and also developmental timeline perspective, I think on the critical path. So we started with the 5-ounce coin thinking that that would give us the most issues, and certainly getting the curved dies into the 1,000-ton press was a challenge. The coin actually came out pretty good from the beginning. We did have some issues with filling the relief, particularly around the astronauts' hands where they clasp and the flag in that area. We did have to adjust the dies on that, tweak the curvature a little in those areas, and on the lunar lander we were pretty high on relief there and had to pull that down. We did see potentially some die life problems with dies cracking along the lunar lander leg. We adjusted that, and then die life was phenomenal after that. I think the biggest issue for us was that we couldn't hub the 3-inch dies. The 3-inch dies had to all be individually machined. In machining the die, our estimates were about 14 hours to actually get the die machined to the right finish. We got it down to 11 and a half. And so we decided at that point that we didn't have the capacity to make the dies. If this program's a sellout, and if you don't get really good die life, say your die life is 200-300 coins for a die, you're talking upwards almost of 1,000 pair of dies that you may need for this program, which with only 6 machines to do all of our production, we thought we would have some major issues with that. Fortunately, the die life did come in pretty well. It's a proof coin. We're getting in the 500, 600, 700 range on die life. They're coining at about 460 tons, 3 hits. And quite frankly, I think of all the coins, that one is probably the one that, once we tweaked a little bit of the hardness on the blank, the one that actually went into production with the least amount of problems. Certainly you have a large field, it's a proof product, and every coin is inspected and they stop quite frequently to clean the dies. The gold coin, no problem at all, very easy to hit, in the 60-ton range. They're all hit 3-strike. That one went into production very easily. The silver coin, we switched from 90-10 to 3-9 silver. That was kind of a little bit of a challenge, because initially we were testing with the 90-10, and the 90-10 gives you a very nice field. If you can get a nice clean blank, you get a really good pristine field. The 3-9s silver, I was a little concerned about it, but it did coin well, and we got some really nice coins.
What did the legislation call for? Did it call for 3-9s, or did it call for?
It's at least 90%, or at least 900 fine.
So the Mint took the option of going to the 999 instead of sticking with the standard 90-10.
Right. All future legislation's going to have, we're told, will have that stipulation of at least 900 fine. And so just from a supplier standpoint, the 90-10 was getting a little bit tougher to get on the market. It's a little bit trickier to make than perhaps your sterling silver, your 92 points, whatever it is, 92.6%, or the pure silver. That seemed to be where industry was going. So really, it's a supplier thing that we were looking at there, and so the thought was, yeah, we're going to cut over when it made sense. So coincidentally, the World War I coin this past year was actually 90-10, and then we switched over at that point. So it's It didn't really seem to be much of a problem. I thought that perhaps maybe we'd have a little bit of thinning on the edge and that, because it is a softer material. The material flows a little bit easier. But it dialed in nicely, so I was pleasantly surprised there. With a purer metal, you have more chance of getting glow on the uncirculated coin. We didn't seem to have that problem here, particularly because it's curved. So we were also pleasantly surprised with that. The clad threw us a bit of a curve there, no pun intended. The lettering, when you look at the lettering on the reverse, the design is more intricate than the baseball coin. The baseball coin was simple artwork, not much detail around the edge. Well, what we're finding out is when you're coining on you're coining on the obverse, which is the footprint, right? So you're wrapping around there. Well, the first thing to hit the blank to wrap it around the die is the edge of the die. And if you have incused lettering, the letters are sticking out on your die. Those hit the planchet first and start forming it and bending it. So what we were having issues with is letter height was a bit high when we first started. Because it wasn't fully ironing out where the letters started to contact. The letters actually started to contact, and it actually, on the planchet, moved inward, and so that area out beyond the letters had to get ironed out. So we had a little bit of issues related to that. We adjusted the lettering, changed the curvature and the angles on the lettering, and that problem went away. But that did cause us to go back to tooling a second time to revamp that on those coins. And then just getting into production, you never take anything for granted when you do this. We said we did it before, but each new program has its own set of challenges. And this one in particular, the extra detail in the artwork and the lettering and the detail around the border was significant. And we got it. We worked through the problems. We got into production, and we're really happy with the results. But in my opinion, the 3-ounce, or the 3-inch, the 5-ounce coin is the premier product here. It is incredible. The gold coins are incredible with the detail and the pristine look on it. I am surprised how much detail you can see on the gold coins. This thing is, like the baseball coin, we hit it out of the park, and I'm really happy to be part of the team that did that. So.